And we're back.
And we're back, bumble bitches.
Yeah. Doing the Facebook and YouTube thing today.
Oh, hello, Facebook. How are you guys today?
So, we normally have a little bit of...
Thank you.
And I got my phone. Hell yeah, we're just doing a thing over here. We normally have like bickering back and forth and all that kind of stuff, and then we read emails and do Q&As. What would you like to do today?
I want to take a minute and appreciate you.
Okay. Why?
Because life has been a lot and I'm emotional. Oh my gosh, this happened so fast.
That was quick.
I know, it was so quick.
Been live for what, 30 seconds?
Because I'm talking about my husband. I just appreciate that through all of your pain and everything that's happening in life, you still show up the way you show up.
Why are you crying?
Because I love you and you're fantastic and this is what my body does.
Excuse the fuck out of me. That is not how we behave.
Place.
Little shit.
Yeah.
She was not prepared for that. That got her.
No, and that's on a low setting too. I was not anticipating that behavior. That was.
Yeah, we don't do that.
I'm emotional, and now the mom in me is confused.
So speaking of the pain thing, as you guys can see at the Matrix hormones thing on there, I just had my 6-month checkup with Matrix today. And the guy that I talked to, Ken, he's one of the owners, founders or whatever. He made it a point to tell me that part of the reason that I'm hurting the way that I'm hurting is because I came off my hormones. Stop that. That is rude. She just tried to get my finger.
Oh, like a sausage.
I'll fucking flick her right in the nose.
Yeah. Is it because it's raining outside? No. Place.
A whole lot happening today,
I know. You're allowed up here. You just need to wait. Come. Break. Yeah, you don't just get to willy-nilly. I need to be prepared. I'm injured.
So me too. But he said that the reason that I'm in the pain that I'm in is because I came off my testosterone. And everything is low.
Yeah, everything.
Like even my ferritin, which is the iron in my blood, is low.
Yeah.
So he told me that I definitely need to get back on everything. And me having an injury and going out of the country is not an excuse to stop taking something that I need in my body to function.
Damn.
So I kind of got a little lecture today, but I'm feeling good about the lecture because now I know that if I get back on my testosterone, pain will diminish, which I fucking need because I'm in pain constantly. That was really all I had for my morning banter.
Yeah.
I have a thought that I want to run by you.
Okay. Let me check my notes. I take note of things throughout the week. Let's see. Oh, Bumble Bitches Bath Line, Bumble Bitches Bath and Body, is live on the To Be Better website, guys. Very limited quantity. What did the sales look like this morning, babe?
I believe we shipped 28 packages.
Shipping out 28 packages.
Will be going out?
Dope. So I would say that's about a third of the inventory.
Maybe. There are people in there who are getting packages that have 4 or 5 items in it.
Oh, okay. So that might diminish faster than I anticipated. I would highly recommend checking it out, guys. Yeah. We will be restocking inventory. It just will not be right away. We will have to reinvest into the company to get products flowing again.
Yep. And
thank you, everybody, so much who has already looked at purchase. Shout out to Julie. I saw that you bought one of everything in pumpkin spice. Thank you. I appreciate you.
What's up, RJ? So, what do you got on your notes?
Let's see. I'm pulling them up real quick.
Because we have a lot, I guess maybe not a lot that we need to go over, but there's other things besides the Bath line.
Okay. So I've been listening to a lot of John Deloney. That's not a secret. That's probably the only podcast I listen to. I don't even listen to hours.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. And he was having a conversation with a woman who had been having an affair with a married man for 6 years. And she said, we fall in love with the wrong people all the time. And Deloney said, no, we don't. We have fantasies and mirages with the wrong people all the time. Right. And I was like, damn. Because that's what it is. The rose-colored glasses. We're getting something that makes us feel good out of the situation. We're willing to look past everything else. That's crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of lust. I lust you.
Mm-hmm. Illusions.
That people have, then they mistake that lust you for love you. And it's not the same thing.
Yeah. And when you come from a background where love was scarce, right? Mommy did not hug you enough. Daddy was a very stern man and never once said, I'm proud of you. Emotions are difficult. And I can't remember who this was. It was a terrorist, though. He was arrested and he was put into a jail, or maybe I can't remember. It was something to do with war, and he was a prisoner of war. And he starved himself to the point that he could fit between the bars.
Oh, wow.
To escape. And he finally feasted, and he ate so much he died. Because
that can happen.
Right, his body became so accustomed to
no food
that the moment that he ate too much, his stomach exploded.
Wow.
That's insane to hear, because people do that same exact thing with getting attention and validation and reassurance and I love you.
Yeah, they gorge themselves.
Yeah. And it's crazy to think, I'm on a whole thing now. It's crazy to think that people will overlook things like he plays video games 8 hours every single day. Because, well, we're just dating right now and it's fun. And when we go out on dates, he's not playing video games. But when lives get integrated and then every single night after work, he's playing video games and you guys aren't cuddling on the couch, or whatever you want to feel fulfilled is not happening, then all of a sudden it's a problem.
Right. Got unspoken expectations.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. That's the real real reason that you're supposed to have those in-depth conversations before you move in with somebody.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to bet with the example that you just gave where somebody's playing video games for 8 hours a day, if they're answering between maps or whatever, or they're playing a game that they can actually just pick up the phone and respond, or have a messenger open in a window next to their gaming screen, it's nothing for them to quickly reply, and it feels like you're getting their attention while they're still doing something else.
Right.
Then when you move in, there's a real fucking rude awakening because they're engulfed in their hobbies. Then you're not a part of it.
And all of a sudden they've changed.
Right.
It's crazy. And it's also wild that when people see something that they don't like, they deem it as a problem versus just accepting somebody for what they are,
well,
or
right,
who they are, or what makes them happy.
Because people expect other people to change for them.
Yeah.
And you can't expect that. You have to find somebody that wants to change for you, that you want to change for. And speaking on that change, I actually wanted to talk about that too, but maybe I'll hold off on that for an episode.
Okay.
Yeah. Somebody said that they had stomach surgery, and they're listening to us while they recover from stomach surgery.
Oh, nice. I hope the recovery is going well.
Yeah. Haley said, "Who do I contact if I have questions about Patreon?" Zach at tobebetter.com.
Oh, this is filthy. Oh, did somebody just say? Did I just see someone bought 3 hand soaps?
Yep.
Is that Abigail? I don't have my. Thank you.
There are people who answer messages while gaming. Yeah, there are. I do.
My husband does.
Yep.
I mean, it's usually in between.
Right. In between matches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I call you, you pick up every time.
Every
now.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't give a fuck. It's a video game.
Yep.
Phone calls. If you call me, it's important.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what I'm doing.
Right.
I could be talking to a lawyer or a doctor or a police officer, or my house could be on fire. I'm gonna answer the phone. House is on fire. I gotta call you back. Right. Like, but you're still gonna get that answer. I see somebody keep asking for backstory. We've done that over and over and over again. So go back and watch the earlier content, and you'll get it. This is not a demand pitchfork scenario where we're gonna just do what you demand. Demand.
I am.
What else do you got over there?
My notes are a mess. My goodness.
We got a new patron since we sat down.
Patron.
That pillow that I bought yesterday's shipping will be delivered today.
Fantastic.
Got a lot of stuff being delivered today. I'm hoping to get your truck back today.
Me too. I'm so stoked about that. Our daughter's super stoked about that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. The children, well, our daughter specifically is very excited that we're going to have a ladies' car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told little man he can drive.
Yeah.
He's like, "You're really going to let me drive your truck?" I'm like, "Well, you can steer."
Yeah.
You're
You
not gonna
sit
be
in my
able to-
lap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's how I learned how to drive on a
Yeah.
farm.
Really?
Yeah.
I learned how to drive on a stick shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
JJ taught me how to drive a stick shift. Yeah. I learned in an old Ford F-150 that had to have been at least 7 or 8 years older than I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was One of my mom's boyfriends had a red pickup truck. It was a 2-door. I'll never forget that truck. I thought that truck was the coolest thing.
Yeah.
Specifically because it was a stick shift and it was old.
JJ's truck was a
Yeah.
red 2-door.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was like I want to say it was like a Mazda or an Isuzu.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah. Is that it on your notes?
Yeah, this
Okay.
is just a mess in here.
So I want to, this is a hypothetical, and I'm going to pull my note back up because I don't know how well I'm going to translate this thought process. How many people do you believe, if you're in the chat right now and you believe you're an empath, press 1 so that I can see. How many people do you believe is an empath?
How many people do I believe are empaths?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. In a room of 10 people, I would say maybe 2.
Okay.
Like true empaths. 20%.
An empath is someone who is highly attuned to the emotions of others and may experience those emotions on a deeper level than empathy. Look at all these people hitting a 1.
I think people with borderline are more likely to be empaths.
Okay, do you? Why do you believe that? I love that you said that. Why do you think that?
Well, one, because I have borderline and I experience it. And after living with you and then having conversations with other people who are borderline, the way that we feel things does not make sense to other people. And the people that it does make sense to are true empaths to me. Does that make sense?
What if I was to tell you that I believe that people who have genuine empath traits are people who have been abused, and that is a trauma response?
I believe it.
Okay, so there's a psychic thing to be had to that. If you believe that, you can believe it's discernment or the Holy Spirit, however you
Right.
want to word that to that degree. However, people who have BPD, that stems from abuse and trauma.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense.
If you have somebody who is
Oh, I thought she was getting ready to start humping your leg.
very
I was
situationally aware,
right in the throat.
if you have people who are very situationally aware that have to read body language, read
Yeah.
the room, and they are overly stimulated by everything, if somebody's not right, we've said this in the past, I have to make sure they're okay, because if they're okay, I'm okay.
Right.
When you learn to read the room at that level, everything becomes a hyper sensation.
Yeah.
This person's not okay. This person's a threat. This person's not.
Yeah.
And you are reading the room, and it happens subconsciously in seconds.
Yeah.
I snapped, and she looked at me like, do you want me to come over there?
Yeah.
I believe
No, you're with me right now.
I believe that stems from trauma. Now, I believe that there are people out there who just have some sort of universe bending abilities.
That's their gift. Yeah.
Right? And a discernment, spirit, however you want to word that.
Yeah.
I believe that's a thing. How many people do you think have unnecessary conflict because they read the room and assume?
Read the room improperly.
Read the room and assume, right?
Yes. I think that's 95% of arguments.
Right. So if you and I are having an off day and I'm like, I can tell that you're wrong or you're mad, what's
Why
going
won't you
on?
just tell me what's wrong with you?
Right. And you're already having an off moment. Maybe you're having a panic attack, or you're on the verge of one. Maybe you're having a texture issue with your clothes. Maybe you just had a conversation with somebody else over text message that you're like, fuck that person.
Yeah.
And I don't know. But me reading the room and your body language and the way that you're carrying yourself is off. And because you're already off, and I assume your emotional state, you're mad, you're angry, you're sad, whatever the case may be, and we're not having a discussion, I'm making an accusation. 'Cause
Talking at me.
technically that's what I'm doing.
Right.
And then probing aggressively. Why don't you just tell me what's going on? Did I do something? And you're having that.
I view that as a trauma response too.
It is.
Okay.
It is. But how many people do you think have arguments based off of that body language thing?
A lot. More than people would like to admit. And then I think people fall into, oh, I was wrong, and then want to defend how they thought they were right.
Right.
And
That's
then
the
continue
explaining
the argument. Yeah.
that comes afterwards.
Yep.
Had
You're
this
stinky.
had this whole little epiphany this morning about that, because I am notorious for defining your emotional state.
Yeah.
And it's never correct.
No.
But I can tell that something's off.
Yes.
So that's my go-to now, is I
Yeah.
can tell something's off. You want to talk to me about what's going on.
Yeah.
Because you get angry if I say you're angry.
And
Or-
it's not on purpose. And I let you know, like, please don't do that.
Right.
Like, I'm not trying to be angry right now. That's a trauma response thing for me. And I've told you, like, hey, that's a trigger. And I've tried to conduct myself in moments, be like, no, that's not what I'm feeling. This is what I'm feeling, instead of being a bitch about it. Because it's a trauma response in me to defend my emotions, because you don't believe me right now and I'm telling the truth. and I have to defend my reality.
So now you're already on the defensive.
Yeah.
So how many times do you think somebody who is on their healing journey and has done, maybe they listen to the podcast or they're doing the self-help books or whatever the case may be, and they really truly believe they're becoming better, and they go to their partner to have this conversation because they've worked on their emotions, they're in logic brain thinking, they know what it is that's the problem, they know how to I versus you, they know the soft startup, they're doing everything that they're supposed to be doing, and the moment they start talking, the body language of the other person changes and a sigh happens.
Oh man.
That trigger is going to undo everything that they had learned in the moment because they're reading the body language and the sigh and they're assigning the response.
They're frustrated with me.
Right.
They don't want to have this conversation.
Here we go again.
They're going to try to avoid it.
Yep.
They have already placed that person has a negative connotation when they have that action.
So how do we correct that? Right?
That's
Because
a lot.
It is a lot. That's hard. That's not an easy answer, but how do we go about correcting that?
Okay, so let's break it down.
Okay.
Let's work backwards from it, right? Because at every instance, something could be done to change the course of the conversation. So let's start
the first 3 minutes, 180 seconds.
So let's start with where we ended. Let's start with the sigh.
Okay.
Why could somebody sigh in that moment?
Normally it's because they don't want to deal with whatever's about to come.
Yeah.
They are already in their head. The moment that conversation starts and their posture change and the sigh happens, that's the trained behavior because they expect something that has happened over and over and over again.
Yeah.
You know your person.
Right.
We know each other inside and out. So in the event that you're off even a little bit, I know you're off.
Yeah.
Other people may not catch it.
Right.
Sometimes they do, but I will pull you aside immediately and be like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Because we are that in tune with each other. And if you can do that in a normal situation, you can absolutely do it when there's conflict.
Yeah.
The longer you're with someone, the more you understand the ins and outs of their personality.
And you're more likely to pay attention to the negative things in conflict because that sets off alarm bells in you anyway.
Right.
It's triggering.
Which relives the trained behavior.
So I would address the sigh. I wouldn't immediately get shitty.
How would you address it though?
Why did you sigh?
What was that about?
What was that?
Yeah. What? There are people out there who will take that shit offensively. What do you mean? What was that? Because they're already heightened.
Oh gosh, you really my answer to this is really you have to remain the calm.
Yeah.
I've had to be that, and it's not easy, especially with the children.
So do you deflect that sigh? Do you probe?
I would probe, but I would also still remain calm. You're going to get elevated, or not you specifically, but the person I'm speaking to. There's a million faces flashing above your face right now because this is a broad conversation for people to adapt to. You would become elevated, and I would have to still be the calm one. I don't want to argue with you. I don't want to yell with you. I just want to understand, why did you sigh after I just said everything just then? Because I want to have a conversation. I don't like feeling this way. I know you don't want to sit through this every time something like this happens. So why did you just sigh? And whatever the answer is, thank you for telling me that. It could have been, you're a massive bitch every time we have a conversation. Thank you for saying that. And I'm sorry. I don't want to be that way. You're the person I love the most. I don't want you to view me as a bitch.
The probe aspect, I think, would matter. And I actually think a deflection would work too. In that situation, the example you gave, I also think would work, but I think that it would be very hard for the person on the other side, not the partner, but the person bringing the problem, to handle that response because of the posture and the body language of the other person.
Right.
I think that would elevate everything immediately. And I think that would be a huge indication that you need to work on your soft startups.
Yeah.
I versus you statements aren't correct yet. Like, there's a whole lot of things that you can work on your delivery, just like there's a lot of things that they can work on the body language and the sign, things of that nature.
Can you pause the chat? We don't have to stop the conversation, but I want to that's good.
So that situation would definitely be one way to try. And I also think that situation would lead into a much deeper conversation about how would you like me to approach you when I have something going on, because we need to have a discussion.
Right.
The deflection aspect of that would be like, whoa, why, what was that? Like, this is not a bad conversation. I just need to talk to you.
Was it something I said?
Right. I can tell that there's something going on with the body language right now. I literally just want to talk to you. And if you're taking it like there's, oh fuck, what did I do now? Like, you didn't do anything. There's a problem between us and I want to work on the problem. there is an opportunity there for that discussion to happen. And I think that's priority one. So whether you use that scenario, which I think would definitely work, or the scenario that I just laid out, which may not, because it may not be versus the problem. It could be something that the other person fucking did and you're tired of it.
Yeah.
But then that speaks to nagging and bitching and how to have a soft startup still. So like both of those gives you a whole lot of data that you then get to analyze and try to figure out how to make work or make better. So then what's the second step? Because you said we're going to start at the sigh.
Okay. So working back from that, how was the delivery of whatever was needing to be communicated?
Okay.
Are you raising your voice? Are you always, you never, I can't believe you fucking did this again? That's a problem. I understand frustration. The other morning, I can't remember what I was asking our daughter to do. I was like, can you do this, please? And she looked at me and she kept doing what she was doing. It was her shoes. It was the shoes that she couldn't tie by herself, and I couldn't help her with it because my finger was too messed up to do it. And I was like, can you just get easy shoes, please? But I want this. Well, you can have that if you can do it by yourself today. Otherwise, you need easy shoes. And then she was whining and complaining again, and I looked at you and I was like, I can't do this. And I walked away.
Yeah.
That was it. I get frustration. I hate repeating myself, especially when I know the person heard me the first time, and now you're just trying to get your way. That is no excuse to have behavior that's unbecoming of yourself.
Well, that speaks to what you can control.
Right.
Because you can control you. You can't control other people.
Yeah. So if I have asked my husband every Friday when you get home, check the yard because that's the day before trash day. It's the most full and the raccoons get in there. Just make sure there's nothing in the yard before you take them down. And for the last month and a half, right? That's 6 garbage pickups. You have not done that. Yes, there were conversations. Hey, babe, don't forget. Hey, babe, you're heading out there right now. Don't forget to look at the yard.
Right.
And you are still purposefully not checking. The anger would be there. The livid, you don't care about me. Because now I'm taking this personally.
Well, and I think that's fair. If you
Right?
reminded me on my way out the door and I didn't do it, that's just me not wanting to do it.
Right.
Granted, it's 15 feet from the front door to the garbage can. It's not very far. So for me to forget in that time frame, especially after multiple gentle reminders, I don't believe that that's forgetting.
Or you're so disassociated from the relationship that you're in your phone when I'm reminding you, or you're looking at a computer screen and you're like, yeah, babe, okay.
That was going to be my point on
Yeah.
the second part of that is what
Okay.
were they doing when you came to them to bring it up? Because if they're paying bills, like if you walk up and they've got their browser open and they've got a car payment website or a credit card thing up or a banking thing up and they're working or they're doing something that really requires their attention, laying something on them right there in that moment is not going to be conducive to success.
It's not effective.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they're currently engaged fully in something else. Now, could those things be paused? Absolutely. And you could simply be like, hey, can I have your undivided attention for a minute?
Right.
I know that you're busy right now. This won't take very long. I just need you to focus fully on me so that we can have a quick conversation. That's calm. It's helpful.
Ooh, we just flickered.
We still have internet.
Okay. Heads up, guys. If we go off, it's because it's storming.
Yep.
Everything just flickered.
It happens. It didn't drop.
That's good.
I don't remember where I was going.
Well, you said something and it triggered a thought in me. This just happened. So Bumble Bitches launched and we are getting numbers now. And I'm keeping track of everything on the back end for profit, for reinvestment, all of that kind of thing, payroll, whatnot. And you came outside and you told me a number. And you're like, write that number down. I was like, okay. And I was in my phone and I'm in my mind, I'm like,
Repeating the
this number, this number,
Yeah.
this number, this number, this number. And you were still talking. Yeah. And I was like, this number, this number, this number. I was like, he's either going to keep going or he's going to walk away. And I was like, this number, this number, this number. And you didn't stop. You just kept going. And I was like, babe, you don't have my attention.
Yeah.
And then you walked away. And then you came back out and I was in the middle of typing the number and you were talking again. I was like, babe, no. Or whatever I said. And then you waited. And then the second I hit the period, I looked at you and you said it.
Right.
Like you knew in that moment you had my undivided attention and I was finally hearing whatever you were telling me. It truly is.
Right.
unless I am looking at you and you have my undivided attention.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Sometimes you really need to focus on what you're doing to not fuck it up.
Yeah, and by that point, I already asked you twice, hey, babe, what's that number again? And that's something that I do with the children as well. You do not have my undivided attention right now. Give me 1 second, please. I am not on my phone a lot. And when I am on my phone, I am messaging you, or I am texting the women's chat, or I'm doing something with the business, whatever. When I'm looking at my phone, they know that they don't have my undivided attention. I want them to understand that. And if you want my undivided attention, excuse me, mommy. Hey, baby, just give me 1 second. Knock out my thing, and then I look at them, and they know undivided attention. I think that that's something that, as technology became more normalized in the home, that just died. The undivided attention to things.
Well, it's because people are their attention is very divided now.
Right, and people expect. I'm so sorry, the heating pad's crumped up behind me. And people expect, because they're their primary relationship, right? Your primary relationship, your romantic relationship, your spouse, your marriage. You better watch your tone. Thank you, Miss Sassy. That they are the center of their person's world, and the moment that they speak, they're hearing everything that's being said. It's not how it works.
Right. That's delusional.
Right. It's okay to say, hey, babe, do you got a second?
Right.
How about you go kiss him on the forehead? Be like, now that I have your undivided attention, say what you need to say. I bet you're wondering why I've called you to this meeting. Blurb. Right? Like,
Yep.
it's all about perspective and
It really is.
interacting.
So my challenge for everyone, the next time you're in conflict with your person and you're having the empath that your person is off, or there's something wrong, or they're mad at you, or whatever the case may be, instead of assuming
That's a lady.
that you know what's going on, stop the conversation and probe. Do it in a way that is not confrontational, that is not ugly. Don't be like, you're mad at me, I can tell. Why is it that every time I bring to you something, there's going to be
What
an
is it
argument?
this time?
Right. Don't do any of that. Just be like, I just noticed that your entire demeanor changed when I said I needed to talk to you. What's going on?
Yeah.
And then have the conversation about why they feel the need to get defensive or whatever the case may be, because then you can start working on new delivery systems.
Yes.
Because you can change you can't change them. However, in changing you and your delivery systems and learning all of these new techniques and communicating, eventually that learned behavior with your partner will undo itself, because if you go long enough without having those fights, they're not going to go automatically to this is going to be conflict. It's going to go to, okay, there's something serious that needs my attention. You got my undivided attention. Let's talk.
This isn't an attack. This is
Right.
problem solving.
Right. And there's a difference there. So what did you want me to stop at up here?
Oh, no, wait, no, don't leave. Oh, I had something to piggyback on, and then you asked me a question. Quick, what did you just say? Go back like 5 seconds.
Talking about making it about the problem and not an attack on each other.
Okay.
Having the conversation about what you can do to learn new communication techniques.
Yes.
So that it undoes the trained behavior of your partner, so that as you change, they will change with you.
Okay.
Your unconscious or subconscious doing its job because life is changing.
And then we were just talking about interacting touch to get attention, undivided attention. Oh no, it's gone.
It's okay.
That bitch just Irish goodbye made like. That was such a good thought too. Dang it. Okay. Haley Lofgreen, can you scroll down to that comment?
Yeah, before I do, Tabby Renfro on
What do you want?
Facebook said, I wish y'all did one-on-ones. That's coming.
We will be, yes.
We have something that's going with Mike and Katie from Force of Focused, and we've created a whole new business model called To Be Focused that will be dropping in January, and there will be live coaching calls. There will be a whole lot of things going on. We're putting together PDFs and workbooks, and there's a lot happening with that.
Yeah,
So,
there is. I'm really excited about all of that.
yeah, I am too.
I can't wait to be a mentor.
Okay.
So
There's your needed advice.
fantastic. Before we jump into that, Carrie, I want you to know when her ears are pushed back and she's squinty-eyed, she looks like E.T. She looks like E.T.
That's funny.
Look, can you see it? Okay. So this says, need advice on how to stop being the person who causes those triggers, as in being that person who gets frustrated with the same conversation over again about the same topics. Avoid an attachment style. That triggered my thought. She came back. The thought was, no. What is happening? Frustrated gets the same conversation over and over again. That means you're failing, right? If the person is complaining, right? If it's a conversation of, oh, here we go again, you're upset about the same shit all the time, you guys are failing.
Right.
You're failing as the partner, both of you. Because if it's the same complaint over and over and over again, nothing is being fixed.
Right. There's no resolution.
Right. This isn't about what you're frustrated at this point about. What are we failing at? Why are we having the same conversation over and over again? I hate this. I would look my person in the face and say, I fucking hate this. Why are we doing this? What are we even arguing about at this point? You looked at me funny because I said something and now I'm offended about it.
Right.
That is the surface level of it. In the moment when that frustration happens, why are you frustrated? We're just going to run with something random, right? I feel like he never listens to me. And it could be that you have to remind him all the time about appointments or anniversaries or birthdays. Or you have told him, I enjoy receiving flowers, and he has never once bought you flowers. Ask him. Instead of getting mad about it, how come you've never bought me flowers? Probe. I'm frustrated because every time I ask him to take the garbage out, it takes him a day to do it. Why does it take you so long to take the trash out when I ask you to do it?
So I'm willing to bet that a lot of that comes down to priorities.
Yeah.
It's not a priority to me. I'm not going to be the one in the kitchen.
Right.
So for the garbage, for instance, like if you're cooking and you ask me to take the garbage out, it's obviously because you're cooking and shit needs to be thrown away. I need to come get the garbage.
And you do it immediately.
Right. Well, because I understand. I used to enjoy cooking. Yeah. So like that would be a thing. I hated cleanup. Yeah. Why I didn't do it very often, but I understand that if shit needs to be thrown away and you're cooking, that's just not fair to you.
You also care about me.
Right. Well, and that's where I was going to go to that.
So where's the care?
But in that situation, there's an understanding. If I was playing video games and you were done in the kitchen, you were like, garbage needs to go out, and you had just finished cooking, it doesn't need to go out right this second. There's nothing else that needs to go in there. Now, if you go to throw something away and it's full and you remind me, hey, it's been 2 hours, garbage can is now filling, be like, oh shit, I should have taken that out 2 hours ago. You're right. You go do it. The other part of that is that I wanted to say that just because they are a person doesn't mean that they are your person.
Yes.
And people need to understand that not every relationship is meant to be. Think of the amount of people that you interact with on a day-to-day basis that are no longer in your life or that you don't believe will be in your life long term. Just because you have somebody that you are emotionally attached to in the moment does not mean that they are emotionally attached to you on the same level, and it doesn't mean that they're good for you. It just means that you're having fun right now. So your person may not be your person. They just might be somebody that's filling a void or taking up time in your life. And it's important to recognize that. Not everybody's meant to be together.
Yep.
Scrolling down looking for super chats because we were way the fuck up there.
When it comes to the attachment styles, we actually have that on our YouTube channel. We did a breakdown of the attachment styles and how to cope with being that person and being with the person who has it.
I think a lot of that just comes down to learning how that person communicates.
Yeah.
Because not everybody's going to have the same communication level. The things that you go through in life is going to dictate the way that you conduct yourself. It's going to, dictate your behavior. And if you have somebody that's never been able to express themselves or talk openly about their emotions, it's going to take some time for them to learn how to do that. And if they're used to just shutting down because they feel like they don't matter, it's going to take some time of you letting them know that they matter before they, open up to you. I think that's relevant. It matters.
I agree. Are you hungry?
A little bit.
I am peckish. I was just thinking. I was just getting ready to tell Lilo because she looks like she's going to jump off and be like, you jumped down, I'm not going to pick you back up again. And I have already said that once today, and here she is.
Yeah, you picked her up.
Yeah. But this is me catching it. I'm gonna hold my boundaries, Lilo. Your face is so cute. I can't stand it. It's so difficult.
Doobie McGroovy said everyone has their triggers. When we talk about those triggers, it sets all of them off, shows every failure you've had in a relationship. Don't show triggers, don't talk about feelings.
Ooh.
I agree that everyone
yeah.
does have triggers and those hard conversations are going to set them off. However, that is an opportunity for you to learn. And then after conflict is over and you guys have found resolution, or maybe a couple days later, be like, hey, I noticed when I said this, you responded with X. And it seemed like a trauma response. It seemed like a trigger. I realized that that changed the entire tone of our conversation. I would like to know why that happened. You never know the triggers that you are always going to have something that's going to set you off, and you will not know what it is because you've never really examined it until it happens and it's been pointed out, or until you realize it. So there's a super chat.
Well, before we move on, the triggers also become easier to face. Those failures become easier to face when you recognize that everybody fails.
Right.
Everybody who throws stones at your mistakes clearly are neglecting their own.
Yeah.
And their life is suffering because of it. Their relationships are not fantastic. They are probably waking up miserable. There are people, right? We all know the people who have money and they look like they're happy. They're absolute assholes. None of their relationships are real. None of their relationships are based on anything meaningful. I can't remember where I was going with that. Because I'm just picturing Kim Kardashian being a mom, and that's a whole nother thing for me.
Misery loves company.
It really does.
And people don't want to believe that other people can be happier than they are because they've never got to experience it.
Right.
So they want to try
the
to
throwing
sabotage.
stones.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. The throwing stones at glass houses. It's wild. People need to humble themselves. Humanity needs to be humbled a little bit. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody fucks up. Everybody has triggers.
Yep.
And if you think I'm wrong, pay attention to the next person who starts yelling.
Yeah.
Because yelling, right, fighting is an intellectual temper tantrum.
It is.
That person's triggered.
Vaughn Valo says, hey guys, my boyfriend will be promoted to sergeant soon and then going to the GSP Academy next year. So excited. I had to share with you all. Thank you and God bless. Well,
Oh
thank
my
you for
gosh,
that.
how exciting.
Congrats.
Good on him for making something of himself. And good on you for being proud of him.
Jay said, I know plenty of those assholes, Peaches, and it's funny watching them buy their friendships and wonder why they still feel alone.
Yep.
Hi guys, Megan from Melbourne, Australia. I love you guys. Your example is so important and needed at the moment. Don't ever doubt the effect that you're having on people. From someone looking for what you got. Also, Peaches, I think we would either love or hate each other, and you remind me of me. Okay.
All right. You know what? The fact that you had the balls to say that, I like you. I'm here for it.
It's funny. I am in remission for major depressive disorder. Love that.
Oh, beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful.
Do we want to do some emails? Do you want to just Q&A? What do you want to do today?
I want to get some food.
Do you think that was a productive conversation?
I think it was.
Okay.
I had some nice thought processes. I'm chewing on things now. Definitely tying a lot of that into the 7 levels of intimacy and the things I'm learning from that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, while you look that up, I'm going to go ahead and promote the YouTube channel.
Okay.
For you guys who are watching on Facebook, please go over to YouTube. It's YouTube/@ To Be Better Podcast. Go over there and give us hit the subscribe button. We are trying to get to 250,000 this year. We're at 221. So we have like 19,000 to go or something like that.
Yep.
29,000 to go. I don't know. My math sucks.
Yep. I think I am going to go for, I know that you already said I could get the hair extensions, but I want to hit the 250 mark.
Okay.
As like a goal, and then maybe make a video of it. I want long hair.
Yeah.
I want really long, beautiful hair.
You have long, beautiful hair.
I know, but I want to do like that Venus painting thing where the hair is covering the girls.
Nope, don't know that one.
No, you do know it. I'm gonna show you.
Kendra on YouTube said, you guys have helped me change myself and work on myself the last 2 years. And I have now gotten a promotion at work and my marriage is getting better and I can't thank you guys enough. Well, I love that for you.
I was wrong. Her hand is covering the girls, but her hair is covering her
Okay.
bat cave. That was the only thing that came to my mind. I'm so sorry, guys. And I don't mean like bats, like I mean like, I'm Batman.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's a goal for me.
Justin said, I'm a recovering narcissist and need to fix my relationship, and you guys help.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Start doing things that promote compassion in your life and do
Yes.
for others. The more you do for others, the better off you're going to be in terms of the narcissism thing. Holy shit. Hello from South Africa. Been following you both for a while on all platforms, and I've used your podcast with my partners to help navigate difficulties and different perspectives. I learn a lot from you both, and I appreciate the both of you. Thank you. Thank you for the kind words.
I love that.
Just subscribed on YouTube. Thank you for that. Healing canvases for CPTSD survivors. Claire said, so if you or your significant other makes the other mad and have a fight and words were said that hurt and you just don't know how to talk about it, what do you do? Not knowing what to say, kind of like in shock. Kind of hard to put into words. Well, first you get out of the emotional mindset.
Yes, I would take a cool down period.
Calm down, right? Be like, hey,
Yeah.
that kind of upset me. I'm going to take like 15, 20 minutes. I'm going to go
Yeah.
get some food. Are you hungry? I'll bring back something we can eat.
Yeah.
And then I would like to have a discussion about why that made me feel that way and what just happened.
Yeah. I would personally say that really just hurt my feelings. I'm going to go get a milkshake. I'll get you one, but I need to be by myself right now.
Yeah. I'm not thinking about leaving you. This
Yeah.
isn't the end of our relationship. I need to figure out why that made me feel that way.
I have to process
And then we
this.
need to have a conversation. Right?
Yeah.
You also don't make other people mad. Anger's a tool.
Yeah, people want to get angry.
Right.
They had already had built pent up energy. Right? And we see that self-control all the time in the corporate place. People don't lose their minds at work. They
Right.
lose their minds at home. They wanted to get angry by the time they got home, for example.
Which means they can control themselves.
Right.
I think that anger is a tool and people go to that because that's what's always served them. And when you use that anger,
It's an easy way to get what you want because people don't like that energy.
right, to buck people down or to make them submit to whatever's going on or to get them to stop talking or whatever the case may be. And that's been your go-to thing every single time. You're not evolving, you're not growing. You are using that as emotional manipulation to get your person to stop doing what they're doing because you don't like it. There's no growth there.
No, there's not. To revisit that conversation, right? Say that the argument happened the day before. It's swept under the rug, right? Or maybe it was actually resolved. I wouldn't believe that there was an actual resolution to that argument or conversation because you wouldn't be feeling this way. You would know how to approach the conversation. So I'm going to assume that the conversation was swept underneath the rug. And that conflict is a pretty regular thing. To have the conversation of that was said and it hurt my feelings, I would say just that. I heard this, and say what you heard. Don't tell them that they said that. Say
Right.
what you heard, and that hurt my feelings. And now I'm feeling a certain way about it. And you're the person that I love, and I would like to have a conversation and see if I can navigate this and try to feel better.
Yeah. Sometimes what you hear is not what was actually said.
Right.
Right. We filter life through lenses.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes that conversation could have been an innocent conversation that you took really shitty.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're starting a fight when it wasn't meant to be. So and it's okay to explain yourself, right? Like it's okay to have a back and forth if you're with somebody and explain what it is that you were feeling when you said it or why you did what you did. But I also think that there's a lot of people on the internet that'll be like, that's manipulative behavior, blah, blah, blah. I think it's communication. If you did
What?
something, people will say it's manipulating. We'll say it's manipulating if you are trying to over explain your situation.
Okay, but then they also say that that's a trauma response.
It is.
So
Well,
which one is it?
It's also,
right?
it could also be ADHD and autism.
Right.
So like there's a whole lot of things that lead to that over explaining.
Right.
For me, it's a trauma response.
Yeah.
I don't want you to hurt.
Likewise.
I
It's
want to
the
make
same
sure that
thing.
you completely understand the motives behind why I did what I did. And if it's wrong, I'm still going to apologize, but I still want you to understand
the
the
intent
why.
wasn't there.
Right.
Yeah. How do we feel about sushi?
I would rather not have sushi while we're live.
Okay.
It's too much to do.
To handle.
Yeah. Nessa said on YouTube, my husband has IED, so we truly can never fight or argue. We have to talk about it or else it triggers for him. So we truly try our best to have a conversation without arguing. We truly talk about everything. That's the point. That's the whole goal, is to not have aggression. It is to have open communication. I think that people fight the way they do because they believe their person is intentionally doing things to harm them, or like they view it as a real fuck you. Like,
and if you truly believe that, why are you with this person?
Right.
Why would you choose to be with somebody who is intentionally hurting you, who is intentionally taking digs and saying fuck you?
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah.
You want to do first watch?
I could do a waffle.
A waffle?
Ooh. Oh, wait, you said first watch.
Yeah, that's a waffle.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we take a second? And can you just gloat about your wife's cooking and the French toast I made yesterday morning?
The French toast was fucking legit.
Wasn't it? It was really good.
Yeah. Mickey said, what would be the best way to navigate when a partner comes to you with an insecurity that they have and talking to you about it, where it stems from, and you create that space to talk and reassurance, etc., but the next day they tell you how F you are and that I F everything up. That doesn't sound like you guys came to resolution if the next day they're coming to you that way. Sounds like nothing was resolved, or they're looking for a fight. Some people live in chaos. Some people don't. Some people don't feel like their person loves them unless they're constantly involved in drama.
I was one of those people.
Unhealed as a motherfucker.
I was one of those people where I would create arguments because if you would sit here and argue with me, you would love me. If you didn't love me, you would just walk away. And in my mind, you sitting here and fighting with me, okay, this person really loves me. Otherwise, they would just leave. And this is who I am as a person, and they're putting up with it. Like, I was a mess. Absolute. I wasn't even like the Louis Vuitton garbage bag. I was just ripped to shreds by raccoons and a mess.
Would never tolerate that behavior from anybody in my life.
Right.
Shelby said, my husband is bipolar 1. It's hard to talk about anything. I feel the same question will be answered in 100 different ways. Maybe. How did you get over feeling that way, Peaches?
How did I get over feeling that way? Like wanting to initiate arguments and have people fight to prove their love for me. I recognized that it wasn't working. That every relationship I had ever been in failed. And speaking on my own personal experience, me living in a trauma response made me a very narcissistic person. Narcissism is derived in survival. And my survival was to a point that I didn't care that I was wrecking other people's lives or messing with their mental state or playing games with them, because this is about how I feel.
Right. That toxic behavior is not something that anybody who has any sense of peace in their life will tolerate.
Yeah.
And you can get somebody that could have been your person and that behavior would have pushed them away 100%. And you would never have gotten anywhere in the relationship with that shit.
Yeah.
Speaking personally, I would never tolerate that. Like I want to have conversations with you. And if I feel like you're attacking me all the time and I'm going to be miserable in the relationship, I can be miserable alone. Like, and that's how I would have approached that initial dating toxicity.
Yeah.
You know, that whole fucking, I'm going to get mad at you so that you chase me shit. Nah, that's not happening. You're not an ice cream truck. I ain't chasing you. You're not my money. I'm not chasing you.
I was 100% that person where in the middle of an argument, I would walk away and then be pissed off I wasn't followed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I changed that behavior because I was tired of feeling the way that I felt. I didn't feel like I was a good person. I knew I was doing things that a good person wouldn't do.
Yeah. But you did them anyways.
And I did it anyways because, well, they pushed me to do that.
Right.
Yeah, I called her a fucking bitch and egged her car, but I did that after she told me 3 times that she wanted to fight me.
Yeah.
Like, and setting dominance. That's a hypothetical. I've never done that. I'm way too scared of being arrested.
Leanna on YouTube said, what is the best advice you would give to a single 30-year-old woman who hasn't found their person yet, but wants to prepare for the next stage in life?
Are you prepared for that next stage of life? Right? How do you handle conflict resolution? How are you going to navigate your husband being depressed? Do you take things super personally? Right? And this is me being a wife to a true man. I have dated a lot of boys. I will die on the hill that you are the first man I have ever been with. And after being in a long-term relationship with you and experiencing you day to day and the mood swings and the depressive episodes and things just not going your way in life, I have learned when I need to be there for you, and I've learned when you need space. I've learned to read the room. I have learned to not take things personally at all, even if you're on autopilot and you say something to me out of the side of your neck, I'm not taking that personally. Because that's not my husband speaking to me. It's my husband, like I said, on autopilot or whatever. Should we be concerned about that clicking?
No, it's
okay.
keeping the computer on. That's the whole point of the battery bank.
Okay. How am I on my depressive episodes? Do I slack in the household? Do I become complacent with dirty dishes in the sink? Do I stop taking showers? Do I stop paying attention to life? Right? Because if I'm falling apart, I have other people relying on me in life that just can't happen. So am I disciplined enough to keep myself in check, not just for me, but for other people? You did it. She yawned.
I did twice.
I saw it.
Yep, I'm glad. Darcindran said he's writing a follow-up email, and he's hoping that people can get something out of it, even though it's not entirely a feel-good email. On the question to that, the answer to that woman's question about being 30 and wanting to get into that next phase of her life, I want you guys, all of you, that if you're single, to look at your relationships that are like not romantic. Look at all your friendships, look at your best friends, look at the way that you are with your family, and be honest and do a self-audit of how much drama is in your life. Because
that's a good self-evaluation.
The common denominator in all of those relationships is fucking you.
And if you can't get along with anybody, if there's constantly issues, your friend group shits on you behind your back and you're aware of it,
you're the problem.
Yeah.
You're not ready for a relationship yet. You've got a whole lot of fucking work to do on yourself. And in the event that you do the work, you're going to then get tired of all the bullshit that these other people are bringing around, because that's your social circle.
Right.
You have created that life for yourself. And it's going to get real fucking lonely when you start isolating yourself away from all those people until you find people who are now on your level. So that's my answer to that one.
Something else I'm going to challenge people to evaluate within their own lives. What are your relationships based on? Right? I am really heavy on this essential purpose. And I feel like my essential purpose in life is to spread as much good as I can, as much love as I can, and make sure that I'm a good mother and a good wife.
Yeah.
And a good mentor. And if any of my relationships are not nourishing that, right? Like, they don't care about me. They want money. They want notoriety. They want fame, you could say.
Yeah.
They want to see me fall. There's no room for any of that. If I feel like my relationships are based off of it's an obligatory family tie, I'm not doing this. If I feel like our relationship is based off of the tawn gossip, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
We're about making moves here, right? I'm also really latching on to the king and queen chess piece things, because the king is the most powerful piece and the queen can make the moves that the king can. And I believe in that shit wholeheartedly. And if I am over here going to be the queen to a king, I am not going to let frivolous, mind-numbing, bed-rotting dilly-dally get in the way of me making the moves that I need to make as a queen.
Yeah. It's prioritizing yourself and recognizing that you have value.
Yeah.
Ron said, do either of you have therapy or meds to help with your BPD? Do those help? Therapy does help. Cognitive behavioral therapy and dialectic behavioral therapy are great for people who have borderline or CPTSD. any type of trauma, even ADHD, the DBT will help with that. She does therapy. I have done more therapy than I care to admit.
Therapy. I need to schedule my next session.
But I actually don't believe in meds.
I don't.
So-
Yeah.
I understand that there are people out there who need them, and there's definitely like a time and place for them. But I believe that practicing medicine is nothing more than throwing drugs at a patient, because that's what doctors do now. You know, doctors go and they get paid for pharmaceutical companies by like, give them this drug. And when you go in there and be like, hey doc, I don't feel good. And they're like, well, you're having a side effect here, take this drug. And they just continue to perpetuate the drug thing. Like I don't fuck with that. I think that there's enough healing out there that could be done based off of our mental capacities and off of our food and natural remedies. But that's just me. We're not doctors. We're just two people talking shit on the internet. Haley said DBT was huge for me. It was life-saving. Yep. My answer to that question is to empower the partner I am with, to encourage self-growth and support, to create safe spaces and positive energy and pure open vulnerability, and also encourage having connection with others and be part of a community. Why do we use the term vulnerability? Vulnerability literally means to put yourself in a position where you are weakened and could be hurt.
Yep.
Why not transparent? We're going to create a transparent space for us to be honest with our emotions. I think words matter. I really don't like the term vulnerability.
I think words matter. Well, I also think that every time we speak, our speech has influence.
It does. Yeah, you speak things into existence. I believe that.
And let's kind of like break this down to, I don't know, like sorcery and witchery or whatever. If we are able to speak spells and make magic happen, why would you want to speak anything that could have a negative impact on anything in your life or somebody else's?
Right. Well, they say that we're made in God's image according to Christianity. And if he was able to speak things into existence to some degree, we do too. And you know, I do believe that there's power in words.
When's November 20th? Oh, that's today.
It is today.
Oh man, it's at 7 p.m. too. That's cuddle time with the children. I can't do that. So this is not a sponsored thing, right? I literally just scheduled my therapy appointment in BetterHelp. And in BetterHelp, there's also free, well, not free, you're paying for your therapy, but it includes group sessions that you can attend at any time. And there's so many in here. There's supporting survivors of trauma, healing life's hurt through a Christian perspective, support for people questioning their sexuality and or gender, women, your mental health in Christ, domestic violence and sexual assault support group. Like, there are so many tools out there. And I understand that therapy cannot be in the finances for some people. Through BetterHelp, they have a lot of options to help with that. There's also, it's not financing, but it's eligibility for it's a fund. I don't know if it's through BetterHelp themselves or if it's something that's through like the government helping BetterHelp, but they will pay for your therapy. So I would highly recommend checking it out if that's something that you would qualify for.
And we have a discount code. If you go to betterhelp.com/to-be-better, it'll save you 10%. And we don't get anything from giving that out.
That's purely for you guys to get some alleviation financially to be able to get the help.
How do I rekindle our relationship when there's so much water under the bridge? I know it's possible, but where should I begin? We have no idea what the water under the bridge is for you, and that's a very, very broad question. You start by being transparent with your person and having hard conversations and dating again.
I saw Sabrina ask if To Be Better has a postpartum service. I do. Just scrolling through,
You mean BetterHelp?
Yeah, and BetterHelp. I scrolled maybe 2 or 3 times down their list and it just kept going. But in that 2 or 3 scrolls, I saw like how to adjust to life with a toddler, newborn moms, and how to cope with postpartum depression.
So there you go.
Yeah, there's a lot in there.
Jessica said, how do you suggest someone finds DBT? You can find a therapist that specializes in it, or you can go to YouTube.
Yeah, there are therapists out there who just do
YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And they probably make more money on YouTube than they do as a therapist.
In private therapy. Yeah.
So, but there's a lot of people that put those tools up there, and you can apply it. If you're smart enough, you can apply all of those tools to every facet of your life. It's just a matter of figuring it out. There she goes. Bloop. I turned off the ad for the matrix hormones and the coffee thing that was across the bottom of the screen because I want to talk about Costa Rica.
Okay.
We have a Costa Rica trip planned that sold out within a week. And we have another one that's planned from the 26th to the 31st of May of 2025.
Okay.
And I believe there's 10 slots left. There will be a coffee tour. There will be
I'm so stoked about that.
a waterfall thing. There's a day at a national park. If you decide to go hike that day, it's a huge hike.
I'm not going to hike.
I'm not either.
I'm not. I'm going to take a down day.
We're staying in a really dope resort.
Yep.
And we'll be doing seminars, live
Yes.
seminars with people. So if you guys would like to not only travel with us and have a dope ass vacation in Costa Rica, we will be doing seminars. And the last time we did seminars in Thailand, it got very personal. We were able to work through with people in a group as to what was going on in their lives. And I really feel like we made impact.
I agree.
And it's small sessions. It's, right now there's hundreds of people on both YouTube and Facebook. But when we're doing those seminars and there's 8, 10, 20 people there, it's a very small interaction.
You're getting that one-on-one undivided attention from us.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. And there's a link for that in the description, guys. There's a way to do that if you would like to do it. You can do Affirm. If you would like to finance the trip, you can. If you want to put down 25%, you can. And you've got plenty of time to pay it off. This is probably going to be the only other trip that we do in 2025.
Yeah.
We have couples retreats and shit coming up, but we haven't solidified any of that yet. But with what we're doing with To Be Focused and the other things that we're trying to build next year, the trips may not be a reoccurring thing.
Yeah. The children are also evolving.
Yeah.
So there's life change happening. A lot of adapting going on.
Yep. Yep.
Before we jump into some things, I saw Sabrina say that she unfortunately needs therapy. I think that's a really negative way to look at that. I'm stoked about therapy. I love going to therapy. I love knowing that for 45 minutes I can say whatever I want to say to somebody who has no skin in this game.
Right.
And she will tell me, you're kind of overreacting right now. Here's a different perspective. Have you considered this from the other side of the argument? Right? I'm getting new books. I'm getting new book recommendations. I am getting new insight. There is that, the negative side of me who's like, oh my God, I don't want to do this. But I also think about that when I have to stand up and go cook dinner.
Yeah.
Or I have to go use the restroom.
That's funny.
Right? We get on our children all the time about holding it so long that they pee themselves. I do that. Just like I will wait until my car is on E to fill up the gas tank. I am running to the bathroom because I waited too long because I think it's absolutely atrocious that we have to stop what we are doing to relieve our bodies.
Somebody said that therapy is a privilege. I mean, it could be.
Therapy is a privilege?
That's what they said.
Well, I need the full context
I don't
of
think that. I don't think it's. I think what they're meaning is that people who can afford therapy are privileged. Is the way that I took that. But you can get therapy on the internet for free. People use our podcast as a therapeutic source. They look at the book list and the recommended reading list that we have and the YouTube videos that we've suggested, and they've done things with their life.
Right.
It's a tool. Therapy is a tool. It's not a privilege. And if you want something bad enough, you'll make that shit happen.
There's also more than one form of therapy.
Right.
When me becoming who I am right now, all the therapy that I got was for free. YouTube, Google, looking at psychological articles, like that privilege has a negative connotation to me because of the way that people use it.
Yeah, same. Stormlena for $5 on YouTube said, "You're both amazing, and I want to thank you for strengthening my relationship. Thanks for your time and your care. Loving my man is rich because your help. Loving my man is rich because your help." Love that.
Thank you for sharing that.
What is I'm scared of therapy because I'm scared of therapy, but I'm hopefully going today. I'm scared to know how I messed up. I am messed up. I am or for better. Stop moving, chat. Damn it. Words. I'm scared to know who I truly am. Therapy is a place that you go to get tools. That's it. You go to a therapist. They're not trying to go to fucking. I mean, some of them there are drug prescribing therapists out there, but you go to therapy to get tools, just like you go to Home Depot to buy tools.
Right.
You go there, you get the tools, they tell you how to use them, and then you apply it to your mental health. Therapy is the Home Depot for mental health. Mm-hmm. When you look at it that way, it changes things. The negative connotation that comes with therapy comes from people who had bad experiences because they went and got a therapist that they didn't mesh with. It's going to happen. You're not going to like everybody that you come across.
You don't like everybody, period.
Right.
Yeah.
Just because you're paying them to do a service doesn't mean that you're going to mesh with them.
Right.
Your book list, where can I find that? To Be Better Tree. Yeah, tobebetter.com. There's a way to get it there. The link tree will have have everything in it. Mm-hmm. There's a link in the bio on the video for Costa Rica as well. But the link tree should have every link that you need. It'll take you at least to the website.
Yeah.
Music therapy is free with YouTube, and To Be Better Discord is the best $15 a month I've ever spent for therapy. Our Discord community is something else. To Be Better, Rose Thorne said, To Be Better, absolutely. We started with you and it changed so much. Then we looked up other podcasts to help ourselves and even talked about our work and what we are learning. Then looked up how to communicate, what approach and words to use. We have a few that just add so much to y'all. Love that.
John Deloney, I'm learning tools from him. Isn't he a therapist?
He is.
And he's out there just giving out tools for free on his podcast. Yeah.
Anna said it took me 6 therapists before I found one.
Yeah.
I've had for 7 years, the one I've had for 7 years. You want to talk about the women's group? Since you have spots available for that?
You know, I was just looking at that too. So with the private women's group, I have upped it from 20 to 30. And I don't know how many new women have joined, but it's been a lot. I announced that I added new slots and I had 3 new women immediately. There's maybe 5 spots left. I'm going to say 5 to be generous. Highly recommend checking out if that's something that you're interested in. I don't know how large I'm willing to go with this group. So 30 might be the cutoff.
And what do they get?
Oh, a lot. Now every week there's 2 phone calls. We're going to do, so it's twice a week group calls. There is one-on-one mentoring with me through WhatsApp. There are weekly challenges that are based on the book of the month, and the book of the month is based on the quarter of the month. And right now we are in our relationship quarter, and we are focusing on our primary romantic relationships this month. There is a small community that you get added to. There's a private women's group chat through WhatsApp that you get added to, and there's women in there every day chatting, giving each other advice, venting, doing those kinds of things. And all of the group calls are recorded and posted into a resources tab. So for the women who can't make the calls, still get the content and the value from them.
And the men's group is pretty much the same thing, except for I don't do two live calls a week. Mm-hmm. We do the live calls when people need it because we're able to problem solve a lot through the WhatsApp, the chat on WhatsApp. But if somebody actually needs a call, somebody's almost always willing to jump in and save the day. Mm-hmm. I've watched people open businesses. I've watched people fix their relationships. Like the groups are definitely a benefit.
Yeah.
And if you guys are interested in that, you can find that through our Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I've also thought about, right, because I see how I'm helping women with the women's group. I'm not doing this again, Lilo. I set the boundary and I'm keeping it. I know.
Jenny said there's 6 slots left for the women's group.
Perfect. There's 6 slots left. I've thought about creating a second group chat for the women and have 20 in one and 20 in other. But I feel like that kind of defeats the purpose of the shared information.
I think it does. I think that if you did that and broke it up into 2 separate calls, so there was only 20 people a call, like group A gets the call Tuesday and group B gets it on Friday or whatever. I think that would be the move because it would be it's smaller groups, easier calls.
Yeah.
But still keeping the main group together because there's a lot that can be had in that. I go through the men's chat and watch those guys go back and forth. And their back and forth is a lot of problem solving. And a lot of
No.
time it's a quick problem solve and then a bunch of debauchery because we're men. But
Yeah.
when we do the men's calls and we actually sit down and do the call, it's very rare that we have somebody that has like a whole lot of shit that needs to be worked through. And the calls are 20, 30 minutes at most.
Gotcha.
Because it devolves into hunting, fishing, man shit. Like it's no longer about what we actually need to correct and how we need advice.
Yeah.
But those advice calls, when they happen, like when we were doing finances, those were longer calls.
Yeah. The reason I decided to add a second call during the week is because one group call can last 2 hours.
Yeah.
And with adding in more women, I'm not trying to have a group of women sit on the phone for 4 hours on a Saturday.
Right. You see her little nose in the corner of the screen?
Yeah.
Delitho said, I'm incredibly grateful that I have found you guys and this community. I lost my trust in therapists as a kid, and it feels more real than anything else.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Glad that we're helping. PJ's Creation said, thank you for inspiring me to uplift my husband on his small business. We have gone further this year than I anticipated. We hatched 16 snakes and only have 3 left to sell. That's awesome.
Beautiful.
That is awesome. Absolutely adore you guys, and I appreciate all you've done and helped me through bipolar 2 and bipolar depressive disorder. Has been a bish. You've helped me so much. I love that.
I love that too.
Do you want to do an email or anything today? Because we're an hour and 12 in. You just got a new woman in the women's group.
I did not. Stop it.
You did. I believe it's a woman.
Quit. I'm pulling up WhatsApp right now just in case you're getting ready to message me so I can add you to the group chat. Oh, and by the way, if you're watching this now and you did just join the women's chat, we have a group call today at 4 p.m. in Discord.
Oh, well, there you go.
EST.
Emma said, I watch you guys' videos daily. Now my husband does too. Love that. Hopefully you and your husband can talk and have real conversations about what's going on. Ian said, saw a clip the other night about being able to pause or temporarily deflect a conversation when one is still in the midst of understanding one's feelings or issue. Saw it at like 2 a.m. and despite the hour, I shared it with my girlfriend and we had a conversation about how much that might help us. And it is most definitely already has. The still love me, not leaving does absolutely slow the anxiety down and allows us to give the other time to process. You guys are great. Thank you so much for these tips. Definitely have made this relationship much stronger. What does that say about us as humanity is that we are so fucking broken that every time there's a disruption, we think that people are going to fucking abandon us. Like that fear is so fucking real in people. And we are so used to people going, well, this just isn't worth it to me anymore. Deuces.
You're not worth it to me anymore.
Right. It says a lot about our ability to pick people.
Yeah.
And then about our own behavior in that process, because we want to throw shade at the people for leaving us. Right? Instead of looking inward and going, okay, what could I have done to be a better partner that maybe will make the next person not want to fucking leave?
Right.
But that, hey, I'm not leaving. I'm not thinking about leaving. I'm just fucking frustrated right now. Changes the entire tone of a conversation, because in the moment when you are actually arguing with somebody, there is that fear in the back of their mind. Like, this is it. This is the one. This is the straw that broke the camel's back and they're going to fucking leave. Like, yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Where's the women's group again? Discord or Patreon? It's through Patreon, and it's a part of our Discord and WhatsApp. Yep. Do you go live daily? On here, no. We go live a lot through our Patreon.
Yes. A lot of live recordings.
Wednesdays are our dedicated live stream days, unless we have like a marathon or something we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But we go live every Monday for sure on Patreon. And then if we have other episodes that we record, we do those on whenever we can. But we go live a lot on Patreon. Yeah. Brooke said, and if they aren't your person, you may have to be the one to leave. Yep. Sometimes.
So to be a part of, there is a public women's group in Discord. That's $15 a month to join through Patreon to get into the Discord.
It's public.
That's a public women's group. To join what I was just discussing with the structured quarterly, like the quarterly themes and the weekly challenges and the book readings and the one-on-one mentoring, that is $115 a month through Patreon.
Yep. It's the highest tier you get. You also get a free quarterly t-shirt.
Yes, that is also a thing.
Kimberly on YouTube said, I tried to get my husband to listen to the podcast because I feel if he's listening too, it'll help us more as a couple. But I don't think he made it a priority. He watched maybe 2 or 3 episodes. He may not fuck with this. It may not be something that he finds a benefit in.
He may not like us.
That's a possibility too.
And that's
we
okay.
We are definitely hated by a lot of people.
Yeah, well, I would say that we're an acquired taste.
Yeah. I'm okay with that though.
I'm okay with that too. I just think that means that the people who enjoy us it's more genuine.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
I think that you need to find a way to express your needs to him and try to find something that he's going to vibe with that can open up doors. Mm-hmm. Or maybe you guys sit down and listen to it together or watch the episodes together. So that way you're actually doing something together. I got to be honest, it's probably going to be the best way to do it because you can pause the episodes and go, what do you think about that? Mm-hmm. And you guys can start having thought-provoking, problem-solving conversations that have nothing to do with you. That would be the move.
It's Hamdi again.
What?
Dropping off our DoorDash order.
Oh.
Oh, I'm pretty stoked about that. I could tell because they sent the picture of the food in the car.
Rachel said, Peaches, would you be interested in some homemade beeswax food wraps?
Yes.
Antimicrobial, bacterial, and organic. I'd love to send you some. Love you guys. You're my daily watch. Hoping to share with my SO. Thank you so much for all you do.
I would absolutely love that. I was actually looking into how to make my own. But the cloth that I have, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I used some old t-shirts and it didn't do what I wanted it to do. I don't know if the material was not the right material for it, but I'm totally interested in that. Thank you so much for thinking about me.
Yeah, if you guys want to send us anything, we have a P.O. box that you can get off the website, or one of the mods can put it in the chat. Somebody asked how to claim the t-shirt. The t-shirts they drop quarterly. Mm-hmm. And if you missed it, you missed it. I'll post a link on YouTube or on the Patreon website and in the Discord with a link and a password, and you'll be able to log in. You'll be able to order your shirt size. It's free.
Yep.
And then when we get the shirts in, we ship them out. But it is all done in-house. It's not a drop shipping thing. But if you've missed it, you missed it. So
I'm going to sit up straight because my back hurts. Ma'am, please.
What are some skills to use tonight to talk to my dominant? His no-mo is not an issue to me, although very painful. However, this we don't do conversations about dom subs on here, guys. That's we live that life, but that's not what we do in our podcast.
What is no-mo?
I don't know. Yep. We don't do the dom sub conversations on our podcast.
I would highly recommend checking out the Art of Servitude. They do all of that discussion.
I am working on getting a coupon code for the company that makes your
non-monogamous
collar. Oh. Well, that would explain why I didn't understand that term. That's because social media and dating apps are how people meet now, and it's impersonal. So these people meet online, then they meet, spend some time together, then the slightest bump happens, and they are quick to end it all. I'm sorry, where'd it go? End it, and on the next profile, nobody fights for one another anymore. It's so sad people treat people like they are disposable now. Well, that's because we allow people to do that.
We live in a disposable society.
Right, everything is disposable now. And it's instant gratification. And if you can't, you can sometimes get shit on Amazon and have it same day delivered. And if not, you can get it on Instacart.
Yep.
There's no longer a quality being built in the items that we have either. We know that when we buy something, we're going to have to replace it. What is y'all's email? The email is tobebetterco@gmail.com.
Phenom, I cannot wait to see you in the women's group when you're able to make that a thing.
Tratty Baddies is in here. But we use Peaches and Chris's weekly check-ins.
Oh, hell yeah. Hello. Did you get my message about Tratty Baddies?
Oh. I was like, who are you talking to?
Her. Did you get my message about when I can do... Okay. You still need to get back on me about a time for the podcast. It's me being on top of things. Checking stuff. We'll figure it out, but that was just a gentle reminder.
This says, please help. Anytime I express a feeling or concern to my boyfriend, he takes it as if I'm attacking him and then blows up into an argument. It's gotten to the point that I'm afraid to express any feelings or concerns. When I do build up enough courage to speak, his reaction is exactly what I was afraid of it being. Maybe this is your cue that this is not the person for you. If you do not feel emotionally safe enough to have a conversation with your person, this is a lot.
I would move on. I'm not trying to be with somebody who's explosive.
Right. Now, your delivery matters. Mm-hmm. Have you mastered the I versus you statements? Do you understand a soft startup? Like, are you using things like you always, you never? Because that creates a whole lot of fucking problems. Mm-hmm. Your delivery matters. If this is something that was not always the case and it's become the case, it's because of your delivery. You've now trained him that every time you're going to have a conversation, it's going to be a fucking fight. So he's ready for the fight right away.
Yeah.
One more time, please. The email is the number 2, bebetterco@gmail.com.
Charlie Oscar.
My husband is trying to figure out a spending budget for me. Is there a possibility for there to be like a lower tier women's group that's cheaper for us who are struggling financially? Yeah, the public group is $15 a month through Patreon.
Yeah. I am spread really thin in my life, and I have had to rearrange my life to accommodate the women's group even more now.
Right.
So
time is money.
It is. And a lot of me goes into this group. I spend a lot of time thinking about challenges and the books that we're going to read and making sure that I'm providing useful information to these women.
Yep. I understand that people out there are struggling financially.
It sucks.
And that sucks. But to expect somebody to give you their time for free it's just wild to me.
Yeah. I'm already a very stressed out person.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that they were asking for free. That's not what I was getting at. You guys got to understand that we have a very, very crazy, hectic, busy life. And for us to do one-on-one calls and not charge for it or to disrupt our entire fucking day to try to accommodate something is very difficult. For the P.O. box to send things, would you be interested in any Japanese snacks or traditional kimonos?
Yes to both. Will a traditional kimono fit me?
They're going to have a hard time going over the girls.
I think I have a hard time with everything.
Nah.
I'm built like a Pixar mom.
Yeah.
I don't.
That's funny.
Do we need measurements?
Is she in our Discord? Is Buff Bell actually in our Discord? Because she said that the public group is fantastic.
Yes. Yes.
Didn't know that. Cassidy Pittman sent us $5, but no text. So I'm gonna wait and see if she pops some text up there. Pixar moms are hot. Rip the Japanese whiskey.
Why rip the Japanese whiskey?
Oh my God,
Jesus.
So much just happened at once. You guys deserve the world for what you guys do for a lot of people. Thank you for that.
I appreciate that. I really do try my best to make sure I'm providing the best version of me to help.
How do you get over the feeling that you're going to be alone for the rest of your life? Because I am an old school soul, typo. And it's like I'm never going to find my person. I mean, I think that when you stop looking, you find them.
Yeah, you also need to get out of your house. I don't believe that everyone's going to find their person on the internet.
No.
There have been a lucky few who have made it work, and they prioritize the long distance to become a reality for them. They didn't stay long distance.
What do you mean they prioritize the long distance to become a reality?
Right. So if two people meet on the internet, I personally know a couple that have met on the internet and they're like, in 2 to 3 years, we're going to be in the same state. We're going to make this happen. And they did. They did not stay long distance forever. They made moves in each of their individual lives to bring their lives together. And there's a lot of inconvenience that comes with that. A lot of change, a lot of, am I really doing this for me? Am I doing this because somebody else is asking me to do this? And to meet someone, you have to get out of your house.
Yep.
Leave, go to Walmart and walk around for a little bit. Go to your favorite bookstore. Chill at McDonald's for a little bit. Go to the beach.
Amber on Facebook said, I've got my person, but I'm destroying it with how bad my BPD is at the moment. I need to help myself, but no idea how. You're making a choice. If you know that you're destroying your relationship with your borderline and you're doing it anyways, it's a choice. You're making a decision to be that way. You can make a decision to start doing dialectic behavioral therapy on YouTube.
Yes.
You can make a decision to start having open communication and pausing when you're having an episode. You can make a decision to do a whole lot of things. Instead, you're choosing to destroy your relationship because you have borderline. And you're allowing your borderline to be an excuse as to why it's happening. We both have borderline. Yeah. We don't allow that to be an excuse to destroy each other.
Nope.
Yep. It is a choice. I met my boyfriend on Tinder. We've been together since May of 2023 and have never raised our voices at each other. We live together too. We were one of those lucky few. Yep.
Beautiful.
Yep. New patron. That's another person going into the women's group.
Shut up.
Yep. Ian said, wow, absolutely right. It sucks how fast people fall into that fear of abandonment. Definitely trigger for me, as part of the relationships have absolutely instilled and or grown that within. I wonder though sometimes, could it have been created at birth? I was adopted as a newborn, and that doesn't seem terribly traumatic to me consciously. I wonder if it doesn't lend to the issues I have now. Do you think that's a possibility? Absolutely do think that's a possibility. Thoughts on baggage being created that early in life? So depending on what you want to look into in terms of therapy or philosophy and psychology, Jung believes that all of your shit is subconscious, unconscious behaviors, your dreams matter, things of that nature. And I truly believe that the body remembers things. There's always a I'm not good enough if you've been adopted. Why would my parents give me away?
Right.
Even if you weren't adopted and you've been severely abused, your mother's supposed to protect you. And if your mother was your abuser, and that was your life, you're always going to have that fear. The body remembers those things. Mm-hmm. The only thing that you can do is work on that and understand that, it's not a reflection of you, it's a reflection of them. You harboring that's not going to help you. It's going to hurt you.
Right.
You have to do the work in that aspect. Scrolling. How do I get into the women's group? Go to Patreon. $15 Discord. The $15 tier will get you into the public women's group, and the high end tier at $115 a month will get you into the private one.
Yep.
My mother hated me. Ha, mine did too. Same Z. But you know what? I'm grateful that she did. All that trauma really sucked, but it made me who I am today, and I wouldn't fucking take it back. I would not change any of it because I fucking love who I am now.
Our food's on the way.
Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you will call it fate. Absolutely. That's a great saying. Another one. Your group is going to fill up today.
Jeez. Well, welcome. Hello.
I believe that was 2 back to back. You guys have secretly been changing my life for the better. Yes, I'm crying right now. I love you guys. Well, stop crying. Glad that your life is getting better. No need to cry, though. Oh, that's a good question. Are there any specific... I'll wait until you're done because you're going to want to read. Actually, I'll let you read that one because this is a kid thing.
Okay. Are there any specific lessons or relationship obstacles that you find important to expose your children? Before I even knew I needed to heal, kids first. I just thought that was how it was supposed to be. Not a dig at my husband. I've been working on putting our marriage and partnership first, but the mom guilt has me thinking the damage is already done. To be proactive in our current season of life, I've been trying to think of anything and everything I need to learn about a healthy marriage so I can teach them too. Well, I think everything about your interactions with your children are teaching them a lesson on relationships.
Yep. They see everything.
Yeah.
They see and hear everything. Our daughter walked into the kitchen the other night after she was put to bed to see us dancing in the kitchen.
Yeah.
They see everything. Your kids are going to, and they're going to mirror that. Mm-hmm. Her seeing, almost said her name, her seeing the way that we conduct ourselves, as she grows up, she's not going to accept shitty behavior from a man if she is into men. because she's going to know what it's supposed to look like to be in a relationship. I want that relationship. I don't want to live like other people's shit. Like that seems like it sucks.
Right.
She's going to have that in her mind subconsciously, and she's going to look for a good man or woman if that's what she's into. But I think that situation comes down. The thing that I got caught up on in her comment is the mom guilt. You struggle with that.
I do, yeah.
But your mom guilt comes from you comparing your childhood to their childhood.
Yeah.
And you wanting to make sure that you don't relive past traumas with your children. And that makes a whole lot of sense. I believe that a whole lot of people that have mom guilt have it because they're trying to live up to societal expectations and they're allowing the internet to dictate the functions of their home.
That blows my mind.
It's true, though. Think of the amount of people out there who will say you never put your kids second to your husband. That's a huge narrative. People used to come at you all the time because you said that you put your husband first. You prioritize your marriage over your children.
Right.
You could never do that. That's fucked up. What about your kids? Blah, blah, blah.
Then how are you supposed to example a healthy marriage to them?
Right.
That's wild. To me.
Our marriage is the example that our children get to see and are going to have the expectations of. And our children are taken care of. But we make sure that we are okay first above everything else. Now, if our house was on fire and we had to run to the other side of the house, I'm going to wake you up and we're both grabbing a kid and getting the fuck out of the house.
Right.
Right? So even in that moment, I'm prioritizing my partner first because I'm waking you up to go get the kids.
Right.
It makes sense when you really fucking think about it. If you are at odds with your person and you guys are constantly ugly towards each other, your kids see that. They think that that's normal relationship shit. And then you get a teenager that's super combative and ugly because that's what they've seen. They don't understand what love is supposed to look like and what compassion and empathy and understanding and deep conversations are supposed to look like. Mm-hmm. Why? Because I fucking said so. How is that going to help your kid?
Right.
You know?
Yep.
Look, there's a super chat. Anne-Marie. Hub made some mistakes with lying in the past, but is trying hard to work on those habits. However, I remain feeling unsafe and have put a wall up. So if you've put a wall up and your husband is actively trying to fix or rekindle things, how is that wall serving you? Because I'm willing to bet that he feels that disconnect and knows that you've got that wall up and your relationship is not going to work. You can't have one foot out the door and expect your relationship to thrive.
Yeah. If you're going to be like anybody, right? Not just a specific person asking, if you are not willing to take a chance and heal, right? Because that's what being in a relationship is. Taking a chance and hoping that they don't hurt you.
Right.
So now at this point, this person has hurt you. You can either take that chance again or you can leave. Sitting there with a wall built up in front of you is going to do nothing good for either of you.
It's going to create division.
Right.
I'm going to put a wall between us. Let's see how that works. Let me throw you notes across the wall and hope that you find it. Like it just metaphorically that it's, that's a problem. One of the books that we read, it was the cheating book where they talk about a relationship is supposed to have an open window between two people. Mm-hmm. And that's how everything is supposed to go. And when you wall up and that window is no longer there, the emotion and the conversation stops. What was the fucking name of that book? It was I keep wanting to say Worthy of Her Trust, but that's the one about infidelity. It was a book on infidelity.
It was Not Just Friends.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dwayne said, I want to say a humbling thank you. Y'all have taught me proper communication for me and my partner, which has led me to know how to talk out of love and not triggers and pain. I love that. Fuck yeah, dude. Get some. Carrie said, y'all are helping so many people save them from themselves and reveal them to themselves. Literally, thank you from my whole heart and soul. Do you have any suggestions on how to stop self-sabotaging? Personally and in relationships.
Self-sabotaging. Start asking yourself, what is this action doing for me?
Yeah.
When I blow up on somebody, what is this doing for the relationship? If you are blowing up on somebody because you love them, is it having the effect of pulling them towards you or pushing them away?
Right. Well, that requires an honest self-audit.
Yeah.
How is this serving me is something that you should be asking yourself all the time. Doesn't matter if it's a hobby, doesn't matter if it's a relationship issue. How does this serve me? Is this going to get me to my end goal? And if having a huge fight is not going to come to resolution, having a huge fight is not going to serve me. If we can have an honest conversation about what's going on, and that's going to create conflict resolution, that'll serve me well because the conflict resolution will happen. I'm going to blow up and then storm off and hope that they follow me. That doesn't serve you.
Right.
That's manipulating, and it actually makes you the problem. My catalyst was asking myself, how does this add a positive to my life? There you go. It's a fucking great way to say that.
It's a really good way to put that.
Faith said, I'm taking a chance on me finally and willing to make changes because I have been finally getting the therapy and help I so desperately need and want. Love that shit. Self-sabotage equals lack of self-love. Yep. You guys got to recognize your toxic behavior and start making changes. That's all there is to that. You can't expect somebody to love you if you don't love yourself either. And so much so that if you're somebody that negative self-talks and you're the toxic behavioralist in your relationship, you're giving people permission to treat you that way. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm such a dumbass. Well, at some point they're gonna be like, yeah, you're a fucking dumbass because you've told them that so many times by talking to yourself.
Right. When we post, this is totally off topic. When we post the link for the quarterly shirts, where do people find that?
On the Patreon and in Discord.
Right. Do they get an email for that or?
I have no idea if they get an email. If they've got their emails turned on for posts, yes.
Okay.
Why?
Because I have women in the women's group asking about it.
Okay. Yeah. The last shirt drop was in September.
Right.
And they're just now going out. The next one will be in December, at the end of December, early January.
Yeah.
So what if having a huge fight does lead to resolution? Because it does for us, but I don't want to fight to get to the resolution. You don't have to. You don't have to have an argument. You can choose to have a conversation. Just, next time you want to have a huge fight or you think you're going to have a fight, pull out the check-in list and go, hey, I have some things that I want to address, but I want to try this to see if it works. Do you have an hour that we can sit down and try this check-in? You can watch the video on how to do the check-ins. You can download the PDF and print it off. You can read it from your phone. You can sit in your person's lap and go down the list. You can sit right in front of each other, like knees interlocked. So like their knee, your knee, their knee, your knee, and hold each other's hands and look at each other in the eyes. You can have an intimate conversation that's not ugly. There's a whole lot of ways to do that. Try that and see if that helps. And if that doesn't help, do it again. Because eventually you're going to learn how to talk to your person because you're having hard conversations from a place of love instead of a place of fuck you, you need to change.
Or defensiveness or anger.
I'm literally taking notes. Love that shit. I graduated a year-long DBT program in August, and it's one of the most amazing and life-changing experiences I've ever had.
That is beautiful,
Fuck yeah,
Kevin.
Get it.
Fucking get it.
We have found connection while doing ice baths. Oh, you are a fucking brave one.
That just made my armpits hurt.
Yeah. How about prayer? Works for me. Love that. Pray away. If it works for you, do it. He listened as I watched y'all speak about weaponized therapy and helped me convey an issue we've had for years. He is black and I am white. For a long time, any disagreement we had was because of culture or white privilege. He used his therapy and his family to justify this and debate my argument that if we are in a relationship, we are one. I don't view him as black. I view him as my partner who happens to be black, but specifically, your weaponized therapy discussion helped us break a wall. We understand better now, but through the communication, we are learning we may not be right. Any advice? Damn. I think she might need to go outside, babe.
Okay, I can do that. My advice is, if you believe in things like white privilege, and that comes up in an argument, what are you saying to me? I don't know. I don't have any advice for that. That's not even a conversation I would entertain.
Right.
Okay.
Got a super chat. Well, and our food is here.
Oh, fantastic.
I know this is late, but I'm glad my dad was still able/willing to be an example of what a good man should look like. I'm so proud of him. I tell him a lot. Mom passed when I was young. I love that you tell your dad you're proud of him. That's gangster. Scroll down. She took the dog out. Where can we find the check-in list? Went on your website and the page says error. I don't know why it says error. You should have to put in your information and it should send it to you in an email. Zach, can you check on that? And also, if you guys can look at the videos, there's a check-in playlist on YouTube that you can watch. There's, I think, four or five videos in there. You can just set it down. Anne Marie said, thank you. We'll work on downing wall and safety. Love that. Ashley became a member to early access. Thank you for that. I'm currently in the middle of a mental breakdown. Being a bigger woman is not easy when all you get is stares. I would love to find a love like Chris and Peaches. Y'all give me hope, and you both are my comfort podcast. Well, thank you for that. You have to understand that not everybody is going to be on the level you are. It sucks. And it really fucking sucks, especially when you're in love with somebody and you think that they're your person and you realize that you've evolved much further along in life than they are. And so that speaks on, are you going to have grace and wait around for them to get their shit together? Are they willing to get their shit together? Are they somebody who's like, this is just who I am, you need to accept it? Because if that's their answer, they're not going to grow or evolve. They don't want to. They're happy in their current state of affairs. And until something pushes them to change and they have some sort of catalyst in their life that makes them change, they're not going to. Which fucking sucks. Just subscribed. Thought I was already, but I'm glad I am now. Well, thank you for that. If my sister joins the $20 tier on Patreon, can she give the second access to me, or does it have to be her husband? No, she can give to whoever she wants. We created that second tier because at the time you couldn't give away anything on Discord or Patreon. They had it very shitty the way that it was working, but it was the only one that we had, like the only thing that checked all the boxes for what we needed. And everything is in Discord. So if you do the $20 tier, you're basically just paying an additional $5 to get everything. Because you get access to the public groups, all the content, all the early releases. If you're on Patreon, you get to see all of that. So, is there any tools that has helped your anxiety or past trauma and not project? I sent a text. Website is working. Okay, dope. Any tools that has helped your anxiety of past trauma and not project? DBT has helped a lot. Realizing that my past doesn't exist anymore has helped a lot. Understanding Adlerian psychology and reading choice theory has helped a lot. Hell yeah. How do you handle a wife that takes her feelings out on you angrily and aggressively? Well, that sounds like abuse. That sounds like abuse.
Oh, man. Can you guys tell what I just did?
Yeah.
Yep.
Learning about BPD and seeking a diagnosis thanks to your podcast and my husband. Oh, that jumped. It's gone.
Oh, unfortunately.
We got a whole bunch of chats just back to back to back to back to back. We are almost 2 hours in.
Okay. Take a break, eat.
Yeah, I would like to eat. And then we have to go live on Patreon.
Okay.
So we'll eat and then we'll go ahead and post a link in our Discord. With that being said, I guess thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next Wednesday.
Yeah, and thanks for hanging out with us, guys.
Get a nose ghost.
Yeah.
To get the boogies. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
And